put a hole in the pan. You don't even let them get like.
We're going to cut that pig.
All right, so we're gonna finish taking all the blood out. It looks like a lot of blood, but it's really not.
This will be fun.
Kind of just come down.
Oh my.
You want to see a lot of blood?
Oh my gosh.
You're about to see a lot of blood.
Maybe I should flip her over to the
Yeah,
other side.
what have you done to my mom? Look at those pigs. They're like, my
Here it comes.
And then what you can do is just
It's
kind
gonna
of
come good.
put your pressure on right about where you think the heart is, which is right behind this foreleg. Oh, she's still good. You just kind of just work it a little bit. And you're gonna get most of it out. I mean, there's other, you could do this closer to the end, but it's just easier when you're gutting it. There's more room in it, in the bottom of the cavity to make the last final cut from your GI tract, I guess.
Hey, man.
Oh, my dad's crying.
Sorry.
Okay, we're gonna make the piggy go.
Pop her Achilles, right behind her Achilles, between her bone and this back ligament right here. You got to be really careful not to fracture this Achilles, because this is how she's going to hang. That kind of is what holds her up. It's pretty hard to clip, but it is possible, and you can still clean it. It's just going to make it more difficult. So basically, you can feel that cord right here. Runs the whole length right there. So we're just going to stick her right here.
Ooh, that's.
She's still got some nerves on.
Oh my gosh, that thing just moved. Do not say that.
It's best we don't go back to that.
You can kind of see the indentation on her leg right here.
No rubber kill.
Josiah.
And this is the elbow right here, and that's where you're going to come right in there. And you just go down. You don't got to go far, because if you go too far, you're going to just run into meat a little bit.
She's going to die. I don't want that one her to do something.
Let me know when she is.
Whose kid is that?
Are you joking me? He's like a piece of ham.
All right, you want to lift her up there? I wear gloves just because I have a lot of cuts in my hand.
And he's
I don't
professional because he's actually a meat cutter.
I don't want to get infections. This is a great way to get infections. I recommend wearing gloves, preferably some with some sort of grip on there. It just helps you out a little bit more.
With this? Thank you, thank you. Sorry, I don't know. This never happens to me. I promise. It's the first time.
Touche. Well played, sir. I think my son's first time he's been on a farm.
Anything in particular?
Around the hooves, just where you see a lot of dirt, and then the butt, and then that big clump of fat.
Basically the same place you'd clean yourself, Nate, and after in the shower. You know? Right around the nose and the butt.
That's what my wife tells me.
You get in, it's a big. Yeah, I'm good. I'm clean, babe. What are you talking about?
Now, did you get your nose in your butt? Let me smell. I don't think you did.
It's like me and my.
This is a Victorinox 6-inch semi-stiff. Comes in stiff, extra stiff, flexible, anything in any variation in between. This knife can do everything that we're going to do here today, and then a lot more. So I recommend this. I would recommend getting two. They're about $25 to $30 on Amazon. Victorinox 6-inch boning knife, semi-stiff. The reason for two is some of these jobs are going to be rolling around bone, and you're just going to be kind of rolling out your edge. You're going to ruin your edge. Not so much ruin your edge, but you're going to flatten it out faster. So I always have something that I only use on boneless. So if I have to make a really precise cut, I have a super sharp blade edge ready to go at all times. Okay? Sharpening. You ready? Where'd he go? There he is. Sharpening. The stuff you get when you buy like a box set of knives, that little fireworks, waterworks. The one you get in that box set when you buy like 12 knives, that thing is crap. Unless you're spending thousands of dollars. I've even seen like in the mid upper hundreds of dollars. The one they give you is crap. Get you, this is about $40. It's companies Wergner, Victorinox, F. Dick. They're all great companies. Get you, this is kind of like an egg shape. What would you call that? Yeah, an egg shape. It's not super, it's not circular. It's kind of flattened. I like it because I can grind a lot of edge if I have to grind a lot of edge, if it's super flat, and then I can get it really nice and fine. That's why I like this. You can't do that with a circle, right? So sharpening it, 90 degrees, this straight up and down, my blade right here, 90 degrees, half of that is 45, half of that is about 22 and a half. 22 and a half is an ideal angle for your blade. Does that make sense? One more time. 90, 45, 22 and a half, right? Everybody get that? That's the quickest knife lesson you're ever gonna get.
Thoughts on these? I
Those-
hate those.
Yeah. I don't use this.
Okay.
I just don't use this.
That's fair.
What is it?
It's just
It's
a
like a
little. It's a
preset.
cheater. It's a cheater.
It is a cheater. If you're gonna carry that with you everywhere you go, right? That's probably easier to carry than this, right?
Yes.
So,
But
have
you
to
can't
use that-
hit anybody in the head with that
No,
if you
it
need
doesn't,
to.
like,
Yeah,
double
so
as a club.
that's right.
They're good because that's gonna set your angle every time. I don't know what angle that is. Yeah, whatever.
22.3.
They're not bad, but you have to use it every time. Like if I were to sharpen my knife and then come over here and try to use this, if that angle's off by a fraction of a degree, it's not. I'm gonna have to do so much more work just to shave that down. So if that's what you like, it's good, but you have to use it all the time. This is what you like. You can kind of play with it.
How often are you doing?
How often am I doing this? When I figure out it's not cutting anymore. So on this, I'll probably, at work, about every 15 minutes.
Wow.
But I'm just doing maintenance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm just doing maintenance. This isn't like I'm refining my angle and my edge. Yeah. So, all right.
All right.
Questions on knife sharpening? Knives? Anyone? Good, great, wonderful. Okay. All right, so we are skinning this thing. We are not keeping the hide. The one we are cooking right now, we kept the hide, and that is, we love you guys a lot. It's a big fan of us. Huge fan. Easier for me, it's what makes sense to my brain. Everything you learn here today can be applied to any hooved animal. So you could take, if you wrote everything down step by step, followed this, you could do this on a moose and everything in between.
I have a few moose at my house, so
You
I'm
got
glad
some
we
moose?
covered that.
Okay. It applies. It applies. Just you're just going to get more muscle and larger muscles and probably more muscles. Like this one, you think you're going to get bacon. We're not going to get any bacon off this. It's just not that type of
Why?
pig.
Why not? Why?
Because it's not that type of pig. Different animals are bred for Brady. Speaking out of turn,
Yeah.
he's the farmer. I'm not.
Todd can tell you about some bigger pigs that he's slaughtered and what comes off of them, but these are American guinea hogs. It's a smaller breed. They grow slower, but they're much more docile. Their temperament is very good. I've got little kids, and the kids go out there and pet the pigs, right? Like it's not a scary thing for them to go out and pet the pigs. So,
So the bacon comes from where?
from the belly. Yeah,
Okay.
It's like
And so
bred-
it just doesn't have a big belly enough to get bacon from.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they've bred Yorkshires and the other ones to be really long and get thick in the belly, and that's where you get your bacon is right. in
Got
there.
it.
So
Okay.
they don't have meat there.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so what I'm going to start, I hang my pig like this, or any animal like this, and I start around the hoof here. Once again, be careful not to clip your Achilles. If you're going to do it, this is the time you're going to do it. Also, this hair loves to dull your blades. This is why I have two blades once again.
So you said this is the same process for any hoofed animal, is the same as like getting the hair off of a cow?
Yep. You mean the skin?
The skin with the hair.
Yeah. It's the same process. Basically, what
What
you're
if
going
you're
to
keeping the skin?
That's what he just said. He loves us a lot because he did on the last one.
you need to cook it, or you just want to keep the hide.
So I'm saying like you want pork rinds, you want crackling.
Oh, yeah. So then, Brady, you want to talk about scolding while I do this?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've scalded 2 pigs now out of the 5 I think we've butchered here together. It's a time-consuming, laborious process.
So don't ever do it.
No, you can.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of work, and you're not going to want to do it again.
It's easier to get them at the convenience store, is what he's saying.
Yeah, so
Pork rinds.
We did the first one. We sculpted the first one that was about this size, and I got a big steel food grade 55-gallon barrel, and it took forever to heat up the water. And then we were dunking it with this thing, and as you saw, it's not the easiest to pull up and down. So it's just like you got to dunk it. You got to be about 150 degrees in the water. Dunk it for 30 seconds. Pull it out. And
Work
then
as
scrape,
fast
scrape,
as you
scrape.
can before that
Yeah.
skin gets back to room temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was the dunking method. These are called bell scrapers. So yeah, and it's just a lot of work. I had heard this other method about like draping a cloth over it and then just pouring the hot water on, so we wouldn't be heating up so much water. We tried that on Monday, and that was a pain in the rear. We ended up getting the back and the head in the bucket. So we did the dip method in the end, and it's easier. Now that I've done both, the dipping is easier. It just takes a little longer. So, yeah, because you can't take it off and then scrape the head.
A lot can go wrong. I think what intimidates a lot of people and what keeps people from doing this, or just what confuses people, is the actual gutting process. And like, am I going to cut this? Am I not going to cut this? But the gut hook is great, but not everyone has those, so I'm going to show you how to do it with a regular knife.
Because it keeps you from puncturing the guts.
Correct, yeah, it keeps the blade away from the inside. All right, so now we got the hocks. So when I talk about hocks, you're talking about basically like the area around the knee down to the hoof. That's the hock. He's got 4 hocks, 1, 2, 3, 4. And basically what we're gonna do is Y it out. So I got them circled up. We're gonna come down here. All the way down to like where you would think the sternum is.
You guys can shuffle in here if you can't see really.
Nate, would you agree that's the sternum?
Yeah.
Right, and that's
Yeah, it
long,
feels like it.
long path is?
Doctor, sir, is that the sternum?
Thank you.
I concur.
I concur.
I concur. Why didn't I concur?
If you said, what is a sternum?
Be a little more concerned.
He's the doctor.
Man, he made it a long way in med school.
Hey, if anyone wants to jump in, I will walk you through the process. If not, I'm going to keep doing this because we're going to be here for a while.
Leads in, Nick.
Yeah? Okay, did you bring a knife? You know, I really like your knife. Yeah, you can have it. I'm gonna have you do this part right here. Okay. So basically, I like to use the back side of the knife, and you're just gonna come down here and then back up.
Is my Gerber good? Does that work?
Don't do that. Okay, so just right here and then down.
I'm just telling the guy we put Reed on the butt.
Can't really see.
Calvary pastor bringing up the rear.
I see what you did there.
Butt. That's the butt.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then just kind of cut down, or? Yep. Okay. There you go. Okay, so now here's the pro tip, guys. Everyone gather around. Pro tip, pro tip, pro tip, pro tip.
Pro tip.
Okay,
Bacon.
Brady, I'm gonna have you tell your story, your hockey story after this. You have no idea how much force your hands have to exert to pull on skin, okay? Your hands, if you were to do like 2 of these or even just 1 of these by yourself and you weren't using proper form, your hands are just gonna be like, what is that, arthritic by the end. Pro tip, ready guys? Skin side or hair side. I got it in my fingers right here, right? And then I'm gonna do like a forearm curl. Right, and look at all this tension. See all this ligament? And Nate's on the phone. You can tell me what it is. Forearm curl, and that's gonna just loosen everything up so much better. Brady, you can tell your story.
That's the loan over the top, right?
So we were blessed to be able to surprisingly butcher a cow a few weeks ago,
Thanks to our good
Jacob?
friend Jacob Burnett.
and so we were skinning this cow, and I had a hockey game that night, and I could barely hold my hockey stick because my hand was just so jacked up from squeezing pulling on the cowhide.
But you had a heck of a story at the hockey game, right?
I had a good
Why
excuse.
can't you play well?
We lost, but I had a good excuse.
I didn't care. There you go. And basically what you're doing is like trying not to hit the meat. That's it. So roll your wrist back towards your bicep.
And your
No,
hand.
Your left hand. Your left hand.
Don't hit the
There you
meat
go.
or your hand.
There you go. And basically what you're going to do is just take her pants off.
Mostly the meat.
I'm very easy to that.
For us, right?
Pigs in particular.
I want to post this picture.
Freaking peanut gallery. So every living mammal is connected at 2 points. Any clues?
The sphincter.
I want to milk.
And
Mouth.
very good. So we have to disconnect both of those.
You got a bullet?
First step in the way I do it is the bud, baby. Okay, so now come on this side. Anybody else want to try?
Yeah.
No. Anybody else? No? Come on, get in there. You got a knife? You can use that one if you want. Okay.
You pull mine out of the thing if you want.
Alright, so
So I would start right here. Try not to go into the meat. So just keep checking your cuts.
and if you do, we'll send you home. But other than that, you'll be fine.
We should use the saw that the red team had to have during the obstacle course because it was so sharp.
Josiah, get out from underneath him, son.
Okay, I'll show you.
Alright, so not cutting meat.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
So you can't really mess
I mean,
this up.
outside the obvious, what does cutting into the meat too much do?
Nothing.
Nothing. You just have them.
On an animal this small, nothing, because you're probably going to cook a ham whole,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
If you're getting into venison, then we can start separating some of the larger muscles, and like nothing. It's just going to have a hole in it.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
it. So now we're going to grab the tail and get all the way down there. So I'm just cutting through fat right now. As long as I'm not cutting through muscle, it really doesn't matter. It might not be the closest cut, and we can take some of this fat off if we wanted to. We're just gonna leave it on. And then right there, okay, so we are right at the tail. We gotta cut through the tail.
How old?
She's just under 3 years.
3 years. Okay.
But the other one's out there about a year and a half.
Gotcha.
Okay, so the tail is segmented. It's a little tricky. Most likely you're not gonna find the joint. So you just kind of either feel for it. If you can't feel for it, force your way through it. You can cut it with a saw. Anytime when we're taking meat off a bone or trying to get through something, if we're stuck, what I do is just screwdriver, right? So I just work left and right. If that's still not working, then I'll pick it up left and right, pick it up left and right. This is also why I have a bad knife, a good knife and a bad knife, right? Also, the back half or the back third of your knife is always going to be the sharpest because that gets used the least. So if you ever have to need a real precise cut for whatever reason, always go to the
Holy
back.
cow! Look at his nerves. They're
Yeah,
still
she's still-
firing. That is wild, man. That is crazy. That the nerves are firing this late in the game. That's like those things we use
wanna grab that
nowadays where
saw?
you
We'll just
electrically
saw it?
shock your abs to get it. They don't work though. I've tried. You have to actually do something.
Someone else.
Imagine the scene where they're slaughtering 1,000 bulls.
You just want to cut that right there.
Nothing would make me happy.
What kind of
Nate's like, this is my world, man.
let's read through that.
Let me go to work.
Slaughter 1,000 bulls.
Nate, you'd have been good in the Civil War doctor, man.
Yep, there
Just
you go.
ready to go. We were born for this. That's right.
Let's see. Here's an example of too much meat.
Yeah.
So I wasn't paying attention. We just lost a little bit of meat. So what we'll do is we'll take that off. That'll go in the grind pile for sausage.
Ah.
All
So
right.
what are we mainly going to get from this pig? Sausage and
Whatever Brady wants. No, you get 2 good hams. I mean,
okay,
those hams are going to feed. Those are probably 4 meals total.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on one second.
And then are you going to use like the excess for just like stew or something like that? Just
We grind the extra into sausage.
you do. So
Anything
you mainly
that's
get ham and sausage.
Hams, do pulled pork out of the shoulder.
Yeah.
What else did we do? We got jowls. We can fry up the gels probably tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
Or not, no, after it rests 3 days. So we'll hang it for 3 days and then take that kind of stuff off.
All right. Anyone doesn't know what they're talking about on this end? This is up close and personal. We're gonna stare down the barrel of this gun real quick. Anybody? No takers. This is when I like to make this job as fast as possible. I use a sharper knife. Basically, we're going right into her butt, and I'm just going around the outside. It's real loose, thin, and I'm just gonna I call it zeroing it out. I'm just gonna kind of in and out like this in a zero, and then that's gonna drop. And then when we come in here, that's what's gonna loosen everything up. It's real thin. But sometimes it's a little tricky to get out because it's elastic.
That's always the problem I have with my deers.
Yeah. So just
Getting this part out.
there you go.
But I never hang it. I always do it on a hillside.
That's
No,
probably.
and what are you cutting out exactly?
I'm just detaching her rectum from.
With a leg over my shoulder. Yeah, you know.
Upside. I hang myself upside down from the tree just for the challenge.
And I'm kind of when I'm cutting, I'm cutting towards the outside. My blade isn't like cutting in the middle. I'm cutting around the outside all the way through.
So smart.
To not violate the inside of the rectum.
Yeah. Well, especially in deer,
pig
a deer digestive tract is a lot different, and there most of the time this is loaded. This is a loaded gun, a loaded barrel.
Yeah, that'd be
Pigs
bad.
move a little different, so we were graced not to have that problem.
That's nice.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone want to finish skinning this belly? Nope. Oh,
Feel free to jump in if anybody's interested.
You have to do the back and the front same time.
yeah, absolutely. You get a hole.
Ah,
You could probably just pull
look
this
at
thing.
you.
You got a hole?
Y'all gonna try to pull it down? Let's see. Let's see those caveman forearms at work. Wow. There we go. Look at these guys. Oh, yep. Got it. She got to win the last fight there. She's like, yeah,
Should have done that with Twitch.
that's the last fight.
And then just
Urinate
cutting around
on
where you see the, what is this stuff called?
Like a 3D.
Yeah, fascia.
Fascia. Just cutting that line.
You're trying to leave.
Yeah. All right, I think we can gut this thing. Maybe we'll just
Josiah,
skin the whole thing out.
come here.
Sorry, I'm moving around
There's
on
a
you.
bathroom in the white door to the left. If you need to go to the bathroom. There's also a sink in there.
Hey,
So the
Hey.
front hocks, we don't have to worry about
come
puncturing
here.
anything. We'll come all the way down to the ankle.
hey, shh. Come here. Watch. He's about to go. Got her. Sorry.
Actually, we can just, hey, can we hoist this up instead of me standing on my knee?
But that would make a lot of sense.
Greasy. Oh, ready? Yeah.
Yeah.
They cut his tail.
Stay on the high together. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know more than I do, but I will say what I know. So
Nate can chime in too.
there is, when an animal dies, it has a bunch of lactic acid built up. Is that correct?
Yep.
And then over time, that will dissipate out of the muscle. So that lactic acid makes the muscles tense and tougher. And so we hang it in the fridge for 3 days. That lactic acid dissipates out of the muscles relax, it becomes more tender meat. And then also we leave it on the bone. After we gut it, we'll split this down in half down the spinal cord. And then it'll stay on the bone because that helps keep the meat stretched out.
Yeah, it anchors it. If you were to take all this off the bone right now, it would just shrink up and it would stay tough. Nate, where does that lactic acid go? It just breaks down?
Yes. Yes. Just kind of dissipates over time.
And that'll do it even in the freezer or in the cold?
Fridge.
Yep.
So you don't want to freeze it.
Yeah,
It's
don't
gotta-
freeze it because then
yeah.
you're just freezing it at the state it's in and you're not doing anything.
You want it below 40, my understanding.
Correct.
40 is
Between
like-
40 and 33.
40 is the danger zone.
Yeah.
You don't want to be above that.
So going back to how long could you keep an animal outside? I mean, there's probably bacteria growing on it right now.
Right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you could, like, in theory, you could go as long as until you got sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
You ever hear that term like it's hog killing weather?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So back in the day, yeah, it was like you had to do it when it's cold. Yeah.
in February and you
Let's
hang
go
it
see what the babies
Yeah.
in your shed.
Right.
Do you have a big fridge? I just got,
It's just
I've got a,
retrofitted his fridge.
yeah,
for-
our old one from the kitchen went bad. Like, it still works, but it would freeze up. Like, we'd have to unplug it and let it thaw out. So we replaced that, and so we just stuck the side by side in the shop here. And so one side, I've got a 2x4 wedged in there, and we just hang it on hooks.
His wife got tired of coming home and it being cleared out in the hog just in the refrigerator. Like, just where did all our stuff go?
bone saw. All right, so taking off the head, basically what you're gonna do also why I have a crappy knife.
Josiah.
I'm gonna take my crappy knife and just kind of gently put pressure all the way around the head just to get through the meat to make the bone saw a little easier. Oh, it's gonna cut through the esophagus. So now we're cutting through the esophagus. This is gonna be almost free floating in the cavity, all our GI, right? What's holding it? It's the okay, and what else? The diaphragm? Is that just around the lungs?
So the diaphragm separates the chest from the abdomen.
Okay.
So the intestines aren't attached firmly to it.
Correct.
There's a small hole that the esophagus goes through.
Yes.
So that it can hit the stomach and then.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, so the omentum kind of helps hold the guts, the bowel, small bowel and large bowel, to the back of the
Correct.
abdominal cavity.
Cool.
Nate is an expert pig doctor for all those who don't know on the camera.
Well, pigs are closely, anatomically speaking, are closely to
there's
what?
some close comparative anatomy with it.
See, I was being serious.
You knew what you were talking about.
If a pig can eat it, we can.
Totally.
doctors.
All right,
learn
Nate.
about-
You just
He's
want
too good at
start sawing right in there. It's not going to take much.
Watch your feet. And if you don't want to get a meat sauce specific, you can also use a sauce. That would be cool though. I should have asked if anyone had one to bring.
Right now, really, like you hear about like people buying meat from the grocery store and hosing it off or washing it off the sink. You're not doing anything.
Yeah, I just mean in terms
So
of. like,
right now, we will hose it completely off after we gut it.
Okay.
She's
Still, I know it's
she's
crazy,
still
isn't it?
fighting,
That's wild.
And the hose in that situation also helps you draw the sheet off.
yeah. Ah, very good.
How is it moving?
So make sure it's a somewhat potable
Oh,
water
when
source.
selling? No, it's not.
All right, process. We've already zeroed out the back end. We're gonna start right here at the sternum. Right here. And this is like the most delicate of delicate incisions. I'm gonna go to my sharp knife and I'm just gonna work through this. Sometimes you'll hear a gas, you'll literally hear it go. That means you're in. Don't go any deeper. That's when you start going up. So the smallest is incisions right here. Also, this is going to be a lot cleaner. Like for all you deer hunters out there, the majority of cavities that you open are destroyed, right? They're utterly just heavy trauma and destroyed. This isn't good. If I do it right, this isn't going to smell horrible. It's going to stink, but it's not going to be mass trauma, guts busted open, pancreas splattered, liver splattered. This isn't going to be that bad. I might slice in the
We
intestine
just went
somewhere and
from
you might
rated
get a
PG
little
to rated PG-13
poop.
right there.
Just wipe it off, get back to business, wipe your blade. Anytime your blade touches any fecal matter or urine, wash your blade. Anytime your hands touch fecal matter or urine, wash your hands. When people talk like, oh, I've had this meat, I hated it. Well, that's usually, there's so many things that can go wrong. Cross-contamination along the line is one of them. Okay, so just try to keep your hands clean, keep your blade clean also. So we're inside the cavity here. That's it. You see, we just stuff started coming out. That's how I know we're in there. I didn't hear any gas, but stuff starting to come out. So here's the 2-finger technique. I got my super sharp knife, pointer finger, middle finger, and I'm holding my knife upside down, and the rest is kind of just holding on like this, and I'm just gonna work up the cavity. Safest way to do it. But you can still
would this be used for that meat hook as well? Or
Yeah,
would
this
it
is where the meat hook's awesome. When I do deer, I just go, and it's no problem, it's done. But, you know, this is just what we're doing. So 2 fingers actually in the cavity.
Starting to come out.
2 fingers in the cavity. Slowly put my knife in. And I'm just using like the front ½ inch of this knife. And I'm kind of separating. Should do it this way.
It's just the tip.
Yep, just the tip, guys. I'm pressing back out with my 2 fingers to separate the organs from the rest of the cavity. Nice and slow. Hey, this is, you want this in here? This is going to drop right now. It's not attached. Watch it drop. Step back.
Glass and break in case of emergency. So you see the organs coming out like that? That's the intestines. That's the intestines.
It looks like brain.
And this is why hanging it's also great, because gravity's working with you right now, right? Gravity's pulling
Josiah.
all of this out. Okay, so here's the insides. Nate, you wanna-
come here.
can you?
Little anatomy lesson?
Little anatomy.
Yeah, so you got
Yes.
all bowel right here. Right?
Josiah.
So this right here looks like sausage link. That's small intestine. And the little web-like stuff holding it in place, that is attached all the way through it. That's called the mesentery. So that mesentery carries the blood vessels as well. So that's how it keeps the bowel nice and healthy. It's also how your food is absorbed across the gut membrane into that blood. And then you see these larger right through here. So this is the large intestine. That's really interesting how it's all
Like
ours is ours is kind of like
loose.
a square. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But this is all like redundant all over it. But this is large intestine right through here. So here you're going to have just a lot of firmer stool. The large intestine is mainly responsible for absorbing water. And then when you get down in here, you've got bladder.
Bladder. Looks like a balloon. Usually may or may not have liquid in it. In this case, it does.
If you read Little House on the Prairie,
The ribs. And look, it's still moving.
Right through here. I'm guessing this is part of
Something a little bit.
maybe fallopian tube. It's
Dad,
shaped like small
Dad,
intestine, but it's in the
How
wrong
is it still
spot to
moving?
be small intestine.
Got nerves.
Yeah, so I think this is
If you'll
ovary.
listen to Nate, he'll teach you.
Ovary right there. Ovary right there.
Female reproduction.
Yep. So uterus is kind of buried right there. Sorry. So more small intestine that's all collapsed down. Should probably haven't eaten in a while.
Kid is that?
Or no?
A day.
Keep saying that.
I've been off for a day.
Okay. Yeah. This is omentum.
That's the omentum?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of apron-like.
Yeah. So they'll
So
take
a bunch of
that and
fat.
they'll wrap that in like another roast.
Oh.
And they'll cook it like delicious. Some people, not me.
Yeah. That's great. So there'll be more that we can see as it goes.
Let me get this bladder out of here real quick before she finishes and everything.
Evacuate.
So basically what I'm going to start on the side right here.
Why is it pink? It's actually pink.
Bladder, that's the thing that holds your pee-pee inside.
Oh. You mean it's actual pink?
Yeah, it is.
And then the rest of this is going to come out. So this is why we zeroed it out up top. I have the firm handle on it.
Ew, look at those ribs.
And I'm just kind of tearing and cutting, tearing and cutting, tearing and cutting.
See all those blue.
Kidneys back here, right, Nate? That makes sense?
Yep. Yeah, the kidney should be along the back of the wall, back wall of the abdominal cavity.
Anybody? No? No takers? You can eat these. They're high in...
Probably iron.
Yeah. Nobody? 3, 2, 1. Kidneys? Anybody?
Good. We'll go with sausage.
Here she comes.
Deep fry.
I would go pee.
Take the ham.
Take the ham, please.
Ooh,
Okay, so now we have... It's actually disconnected, right? Everything is... The
smell
back and the front is disconnected, but we still have all this connective tissue. That's the diaphragm, correct, Nate?
Yes, that's the back of the diaphram right there.
See that? Everyone
It
got
attaches to the
a video
spine,
on that?
to the inside.
Eyes on that? The diaphragm right here.
Thing, Nate, is that liver?
It's kind of what's holding everything. Yes.
Could be liver.
Yeah.
That's liver. One of them.
So now this thing just wants to tear. It's the great thing about hanging it is basically what we're going to come right against the spine and just go down. Nice and slow, no rush. I'm going to cut against the cavity right here. Diaphragm. Oh, there's stank on her.
You hold it at the heart?
Yep.
Yeah, that's hard. That is massive.
No, that's not the heart. The heart's up here. We haven't gotten the heart yet.
Stomach.
So the lungs, you can see the lungs. This is why this is probably the best set of lungs you're ever going to see as a deer hunter. Because usually when you're hunting deer, they're black or blown out or covered in corn and poop and black and blown out. All right, these pink things right here,
Very spongy.
they're about to drop down here. And then usually right after the lungs come out is when the heart comes out. So once again, this connective tissue right here against the spine. Okay, this is where I want people to get hands on. Because this is the hard part. This is where the esophagus.
That sounds like you need to do it then.
The esophagus, this is what you need to trim in order to get the rest of this out. It's going to feel roughly the size of a small garden hose on this size animal, but it's going to be corrugated or ribbed. So if anyone wants to stick their hand in there just for reference, I'll give you a pair of gloves. It's a tube. On this animal, it's about that big, and it's ribbed. So you need to cut that in order to free the rest of this up. The esophagus.
I need a caveman visual for everybody here.
Connective
Where we
tissue
at,
all
Nate?
from
So
here to
right here is
all
esophagus and
connected. So the
trachea
only way you
with it.
can really sever
And you got to
it-
sever that to be able to release the rest.
liver right here.
Yep.
Do a trach on a deer.
What is this?
Can.
Listen, that's more stomach.
Yeah, but
is more
it's
stomach.
still
This
This
connected.
left ball.
This right here is more liver.
Yeah. This is a lot of times where guys will cut themselves too, especially if it's on the ground like a deer, right? And it's just blood soup in here. You're doing it blind. So if you have a smaller pocket knife on you, this is a good size to downgrade to a smaller pocket knife.
And you're severing what again?
The esophagus.
The esophagus for the rest of it to fall out.
There's the heart.
The medulla oblongata.
Right there. Anybody want the heart? Sold. Okay. Heart's actually, I don't eat organs, but I will eat the heart. It's actually really good. And
How do you cook it?
yeah, so
Just right now. He just
right now-
bites into it.
oh,
Just chunks
that
it.
would be. Are you up for it? No, I'm not either.
So how do you cook it?
So what I'll do is I'll split it. I'm literally not, I'm butchering this, but I'm just gonna open it up. Get all this, Nate, terminology. This,
Yeah.
Ventricles.
yeah, right? Yeah.
Take us through if the pig had a heart attack.
All right. Yeah, so this would be the aorta in all likelihood. Looks like he's missing a valve. Yeah, so this would have been the left ventricle. So in here you've got the trabeculae carnae. It's Latin for crossbars of flesh. My favorite hard metal, heavy metal band. So anyway, so you've got left atrium right here. So you got left atrial appendage. It's got to come through that little valve. So you see those little strings? Looks like a tiny parachute in there.
Yep.
So in order for this to open up, these little muscles have to contract, and they open up that valve to allow blood to flow in to the left ventricle. And then you see how muscular the left ventricle is. That joker squeezes, and it pumps from here all the way, top of the head, all the way to the bottom of the feet, tip of the tail.
That's crazy.
Right, so this little chamber right here has to move that blood all the way through. And then you got the right side ventricle, right ventricle. You got right atrium here.
Random flap muscle.
No, it's actually probably the part of the atrium.
Okay.
So like you can put your finger right there.
Yeah, okay.
So this is atrium. This is where blood without oxygen comes into the heart. It pumps through. It leaves the right ventricle through this, which is the pulmonary artery in the trunk, pulmonary arterial trunk. And that's what goes to the lungs. Goes to the lungs, gets oxygen, dumps off carbon dioxide, comes back through into this left atrium that we were talking about.
Cool.
So on and so forth. Yeah.
Here, I'll
And
show
so how do you cook the heart?
you. Just like any other part, it's a red meat.
You just throw it on the grill?
Just throw it on the grill.
Oh, wow.
Put your steak
Okay.
with it. So what I'm gonna do
Hey
is
honey, do you want the steak or the heart?
Well, I feed it to my family. They don't even know it.
Really?
Yeah, they never.
Wow.
know. So I'll cut all that. Extra,
They know now.
Yeah.
No, you just
All
told
that
them.
extra stuff, all that pumping out, and then the fat is fine, right? And then those little parachute strings, they come off.
No, that's just one.
I'll reach across you.
Just a little steak seasoning ready to go.
I mean, boom, dude. It's super soft. It's flavorful. You wouldn't know you're eating that unless someone told you and be like, okay, yeah, because the texture is a little different, but it's not abrasive and
I've got a
hard.
buddy
Nice.
with the deer heart. I mean, he just puts a little oil in a cast iron skillet.
Do not
Toss-
cook it beyond medium rare.
Yeah.
Little salt, little oil. There you
Yeah,
go.
he just kind of sears it. You
Yeah.
know, two sides,
You
pulls
can
it out.
grind it. Yeah, it'll grow. You can grind it in your sausage too.
Is this the esophagus?
I mean, you know, the Indians, man, that's where
Yeah,
the nutrients
raw food,
was.
That's where they went. Yeah.
Iron, all your
they
all your
call that-
nutrients.
Rubber hosing that Nate was talking about. That's where it's going. So, I mean, it's not a huge cache pile of meat, but it's still meat nonetheless if we're talking about using every part of the animal, right? There you go.
So his lung, right?
What are you cutting on over here, Nate?
So taking the aorta off of the lungs, so we can see the lungs a little bit more clearly.
This is like Nate's playground.
Brady,
It really is so much
how's that
fun.
pig looking?
Good.
Ready?
Yeah.
You want to bring it out?
From each part of the pig.
Yeah, we can
What-
do that on the next step.
Got it. You're just
Figure
pointing out
out,
what
yeah.
you're getting from what. So you said no bacon because
Yeah.
no stomach, really, no belly.
So, most four-legged animals, deer especially, your smaller, leaner animals, you're not getting a lot of value, quality cuts out of your shoulder. You're just not. It's a lot of muscles coming together instead of where your hams are. A few larger muscles coming together.
Got it.
So your shoulder, some guys just do like a whole roast, or just they'll cut it off, cut the hawk off. Remember I said the hawk
Yep,
is right
yep.
here, and they'll just throw that in the crock pot or throw that on the grill. But like I said, it's not a great piece of meat. Good rule of thumb is the farther forward you go to in an animal, like forward towards the head, the less great it is. It just requires more effort to make good, a better eating experience. So yeah, so a lot of guys grind their shoulders. If not, like I said, you would just cut it off here at the elbow.
Take that
All
off.
these are hinged. The front, every hooved, four-legged animal, gosh, I hope I'm right, I'm not misspeaking, has a hinged front shoulder. That means there's no ball socket. When we take this thing apart, there's a ball socket. That's where it gets technical, getting that ball socket out. This is just a hinge. So basically I could take my knife, just keep doing that all the way through this, and it'll come off.
It'll come off.
Okay. Ribs, not a huge amount of meat, but there's still some meat in there. You
They're
can
still
see.
tasty. I know
They're
the
still
ribs.
tasty. Yeah. On a deer, there's a lot of waxy. The fat on deer is real waxy, and you want to take all that fat off anyway. So on the ribs, there's a couple layers of that wax. They most of the time gets tossed, fed to the dog or whatever. Like I said, these are your true tenderloins right here. Real good. Those are real easy to take out. I could probably just pull those out with my hand, but we're not going to do that. We want to keep them on the bone so they stay nice and relaxed. This is all like your paunch meat, like your flank steak and stuff like that. Throw that in the sausage. It's just not thick enough. Like on a cow, on a beef, this would be thick enough to actually do stuff with
Yeah.
it. You get your skirt steak. Excuse me, your skirt steak from it here. Also, there's some glands right here. There's another gland right here. So we try to get all the glands off before we let the meat rest in the refrigerator, because those things will break down over time. Does that make
those are
sense?
the
That was
lymph nodes.
the lymph nodes. Is that what it is?
Yeah, so the lymph nodes are kind of like the trash removal system
Yes,
of the
there you
body.
go.
And so if you've got a whole bunch of trash left in the lymph nodes, it'd be good to remove them.
And then obviously your hams are up here at the top.
Yep, hams are up here at the top. That's where you're getting top round, bottom round, eye round, sirloin. That's about it.
Alright.
Here. They'll be really small on this animal, but yeah. Top round, bottom. Oh man, I'm gonna mess this up. I have to take it apart. I'll show it to you when it's already
Alright.
apart. But there's also glands in here.
Yeah.
So I'll have to point those out to you when we do it
Like on the cooked pig over here.
on the cooked pig.
So
over
this
here.
is the before,
yeah.
and here's the after. Well done.
What's that mean?
That's straight. You're just straight.
Straight. Okay,
You're good.
gotcha.
I swear that meant still base, Coach. I swear it meant still the base.
Come do the sternum now, or I can just send it to you and you can do the sternum now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Looks like I missed a rib, Richard.
This is why Nate started his own practice.
And then this is a knife. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
We got cover set.
Boy, he's already got some chicken. Look at that fridge. Now that's a caveman's fridge.
Well, I gotta take one of those out and then put the
Having way too much fun.
And then you take that
So,
and you put it like
when you have a doctor on scene and there's this delicious pig, where do you find him?
So it's like a.
Did you not get enough in anatomy school, son? Growing up?
There's this really sweet friend of our family who wanted chitlins.
Oh, so you're not just down here playing.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to help.
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.